CS2 is coming this summer, and while this could mean basically anything because it's Valve, there's one thing that is even more interesting than the plain release date. How will competitive play change? And could CS2 end some players' careers? Many people thought for a long time that CSGO will probably never be ported to Source 2, because it's less like an engine update, but more like a whole new game engine. So making CS2 is not like unplugging Source engine and plugging in Source 2, it's pretty much more like remaking a clone of the game with a new tech stack. In other words, you are rebuilding the game with a new toolset, new programming libraries, and so on, and try to make something that just feels like the original game. But this is, especially to an extent where we talk about competitive play, to an extent where we talk about pro players, shouldn't notice a difference in the feel of weapon handling, grenade throws, and stuff like this. That's just extremely difficult. Of course, Valve waited and worked and tweaked a long time on a Source 2 version of Counter-Strike. They tested with many pro players from an early point on. They started the limited test to find bugs and problems left, but CS2 won't be exactly the same game, just with better graphics and some additional features, because this is nearly impossible. And even if you ignore those little details, those differences in the gameplay that shouldn't exist, there will be also big gameplay changes, evolving the game, but first and foremost, they will change the game. They will bring the need for new tactics, to learn new things, to learn to do things in other ways that you weren't used to before. Of course, there were changes in the game from CS Source to CSGO, and there were still pros competing in Global Offensive who were around for many years before. But CS 1.6, CSS, and CSGO, they were all based on the Source engine. So basic mechanics like hit detection, the physics system, and so on worked pretty much identical. But now we're in a position where not only the technical base of the game is swapped, but also many core gameplay mechanics change. Just look at the smoke changes alone. Starting with the little things, they changed the duration of the smoke, the color of the smoke, determined by the team who bought it, but the most drastic change, the smoke is volumetric and reacts to impacts. You want to see through smoke? No problem with CS2. You can just shoot straight through it and punch a hole into the smoke, but you can also give potential enemies sight on your position. This change alone gives you so many new tactical choices, because smokes stay even longer, but they aren't the insurmountable obstacle they used to be anymore. Or think about the new weapon selection, bringing a whole new tactical component to the game. I don't want to talk too much into detail of specific changes or things that could be changed in the game. The whole point of this is that every player, so also pros, have to learn new things, create new tactics, and depending on how many changes there will finally be, it could kind of feel like playing a whole new game. Bring up the question, how much is your previous experience in Counter-Strike Global Offensive still worth in Counter-Strike 2? If the smokes would have been the only drastic change to the game, I would think that Valve wouldn't have cancelled the second major for this year. I mean, this is just speculation, but I would assume that there could be pro players that are simply not able to adapt to the new mechanics and new in-game features, meaning CS2 is basically ending their career. There are other esport titles, such as League of Legends, where each season, so each year, many things change, and sometimes even drastically, but it's something they are more used to. They know that the meta changes slightly throughout the season and can be turned around completely by the end of the year. If you're a young player, you may be very well capable of learning CS2 like a whole new game, finding, learning, and mastering those new tactics, but if you played this game on a competitive level, on the very top tier edge of all players for years, knowing the game to an extent even the developers dream of, it could be extremely harsh for you to learn that things doesn't work like this anymore. So maybe you don't want to learn the new way how things are, or you can't simply adapt to it. I don't know if it's about the age or the will to do it or about something else, but I really think that there will be players we saw on a very high skill level in CSGO who will be vanished until the next major or shortly after. And I can also imagine a new generation of players which will be far better in Counter-Strike 2 than mostly every other pro player currently competing, because they won't have to adapt. They start their professional career in CS2. What do you think? Will we see players or whole teams vanishing? Or is it just a small shake going through the esports scene? Or will CS2 basically change nothing? As always, thanks for watching, and until next time.